us to know that these are possibilities. So, and the mobile money is working. Even in my village, you see, NigerBet is in my village. Yes, NigerBet is in my village. And people can access the internet, do Google. People now, the villagers now know, I can Google it. So, but how do we encourage them to make this, encourage the government to come up with policies that will make it cheaper for them to Google, to make it so possible for them to put their businesses on the Google. So those are things that I think we should be focusing on as we grow this platform called the ISOC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that very comprehensive analysis. I would want to now give Boye the opportunity, and I would want you to focus, Boye, if you don't mind, on personal freedom, okay? And also look at data protection. Where are we and where should we be? I heard from the grapevine that you even have sued the government of Nigeria. What is this suit about, and can some of us be amicus curiae on the case? So, 4 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, let me start from the last part, talking about the suits. There are actually many suits, so I don't know which one was being referred to, but there are a number of those suits.
Can we invest in some of the suits?
You're welcome. Okay, so I think when Dr. Ajijola was speaking, he mentioned something which was very important when he was talking about hate speech and fake news. How, from a common sense perspective, you would think that censorship, those kind of things is what we need to address those kind of problems. But when you think further on the implication, then we find ourselves in a situation whereby we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. If we look over a very long period of time, how dictators across the world were able to thrive. They were able to thrive by making sure that they suppress people's freedom of speech. If we look at one of a very close example, what happened in Gambia, the former president of Gambia, one of the things they did to be able to suppress the rights of citizens were that they came up with regulations that practically makes it impossible for you to express an opinion that is against the line of thought of the government. So let's bring it home, since we are focusing on Nigeria, talking about personal freedom and data protection. I think in Nigeria, when we embraced the internet, but the thing I think we didn't do right is that we are not proactive in how we address some of the issues that came up over a period of time. We like to respond, to react. And when you react, you can be sure that when you are reactionary, you will not get it right, like when you are proactive. So around 2011, 2012, 2013, the Boko Haram crisis became very serious, and government needed to respond to that. So around that time, we started to invest in surveillance technology, everything that we think can help us to fight the monsters of Boko Haram. But what we also know is that politics it's very interesting. And it's interesting because politicians will take advantage of anything so that they can swing decisions to their favor. So while in one state we said we want to fight Boko Haram, we want to be able to monitor their communication, we are also interested in our political opponents or people who don't support the government. So technology that were purchased to arrest the evil of Boko Haram were also being used to also monitor political opponents, to also see what is this person in the opposition party, what is this saying. And when we look at these things, I always love to disabuse our mind and not think it's about a particular political party. It is about anybody in government, whether it is PDP or APC or even the third force. Whoever it is, we always take advantage of existing either laws or technology to our own advantage. Let me give you specific examples of something that happened in Nigeria over the years. In the South, there was a time that kidnapping was a major issue. And because of that, they got some technology to help them monitor kidnappers and all of that. But guess what happened? I think it was Premium Times that did that investigative reporting. The governors of those states, they were using those technology to monitor their political opponents. So they were recording their calls, conversation. They want to know what strategies they are planning so that they can counter those strategies. And this is where the problem lies. When we say, oh, the issue of fake news, what we just need is for the government to come up with a law to address fake news. Now there is a bill in the National Assembly called the Hate Speech Bill. And we are not going to support it. And the reason is very simple, because we know the kind of system that we operate. We know that when those kind of laws are allowed to pass, it will be used for political ends. It will be used to stifle opposition voices. You all heard the news a couple of days ago where the Ministry of Defense says that they want to monitor activities on social media. I mean, everybody wants to be safe. We want our security agencies to protect us. But the problem we have is the integrity of the process, the professionalism of the process. About 3 days ago, I was at a reception hosted by the US Embassy where they were training security agencies, the prosecutors on some cybersecurity measures and all of that. And somebody who was at that meeting was asked a question, somebody from ATCON. He was asked a question about how do you manage requests from security agencies. So when they say that they need call records of a particular person, what guidelines do you follow? Unfortunately, he could not give a satisfactory answer. So what we see is a situation whereby security agents can approach telcos and say that we need call record of this place. But there are no frameworks in place to be sure that when you are doing that, you are not doing it just because government does not like somebody. It is cool when it is done because we want to arrest a criminal. It is cool when we want to arrest a terrorist. But where it is not cool is when it is used for political end. And that's why we always oppose those things. Our own argument is simple. What are the processes? What are the regulatory frameworks? When there is framework in place, then we know that even if the process is abused, there is an opportunity to seek redress, and everybody will be fine. Thank you.
You would agree with me that if we had 3 hours for this panel, we will keep going. But we don't have the luxury of time, and we all should participate. So I want to come to the floor now. And the rule of engagement from the floor is that you can ask the panel questions. That will be 30 seconds. Or you could make a contribution. That will be 1 minute. Okay? Now, if you notice, I didn't time regulate any member of the panel. It will not be the same when I come to the floor. Is that okay? So I would appeal, and I'm appealing now. 30 seconds if you are making asking the panel a question. We will note the questions. We will take all of them together later on. But if you are making a contribution on any matter we have discussed, 1 full minute. I am going to walk by rows. I will take 1 from the left, 2 from the middle, and 1 from this side. There is something they call carpet crossing. Since the people are not plenty here, if you really want to use that slot, you are free to cross carpet. I will respect it. Is that okay? So I will start from the extreme row to our left. If anybody wants to ask a question or make a contribution. 30 seconds question, 1 minute contribution. Then I'll come to this row. I will take 2 people. And then I'll move here 1, and we'll alternate like that. Please introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Akin Okimbalui. I would just love the last speaker to tell us more about our data protection strategy. I'm interested in that. He didn't mention anything about data protection.
Thank you. No, we'll take all the questions. Let's move to the second row now. Questions, 30 seconds, contributions, 1 whole minute. But if you're a founding member of ISOC, I won't bang my microphone, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dr. Louis Obio Nelson. I'm making contribution. First of all, I want to congratulate the new executive of ISOC, and I wish to add that our vote counted, even though there were only about 365 people who voted. But we make sure we voted for young, vibrant executive, unlike Nigeria, that doesn't say any good in young men. That's why we are here with the problems we are today. If you look at the theme of this forum, it says, shaping tomorrow. For me, tomorrow starts today. And there is a big problem in Nigeria. We don't even think that tomorrow is tomorrow. We keep going back to yesterday and struggling with yesterday. And we don't know that building capacity among our youth is the future of this country. Since my retirement from government, I've been working as a mentor for a number of youths. It's not been easy because we don't have the same vision. Most of the youths are looking for easy wealth, while I'm trying to impact capacity. And so it's not been easy for me, maybe easy for them, because I've lost some money, but then it doesn't matter. What is money meant for? To be wasted after all. So I have come up with this thinking that we are stranded in Africa because we do not have the resources to build our capacity in the ICT world the way they will have the resources in the West, Asia, and other countries, middle and advanced countries. And if we do not build that capacity, we'll be lost in the past. To build that capacity, we must have improved ICT training. And we cannot wait for governance, because governance is not focused on governance, or government is not focused on governance. And to do that, I found out that there were so many free courses online, and many of our youth are not aware of that. So what I did was I collated these courses into a website, making it available for Nigeria, because it relates to it, because you started by saying technology and capacity, that we need technology and capacity. And he also talked about capacity among youth. In fact, you said technology and personnels, but you said capacity. So if these courses are available on the website is www.freesdcourses.com. SD for self-development courses. I would like to work with the Internet Society to make sure that these courses are available to every Nigerian. My thinking is that if we can get 1 million or more Nigerians learning these free courses, we're going to have a critical mass. And from there, we can develop other people. I'm thinking in the future of even arranging boot camps for people who graduate from these courses to improve the things they do about internet, because we know that tomorrow everything about us is about internet. Whatever we think, they're talking about Internet of Things, they're talking about international artificial intelligence. So everything about us is internet, and we have to start now to develop that capacity. I was discussing with my friend and colleague here and found out that because he's in the representing computer society, and found out that it looks as if the government has given up on computer society. Nothing's happening. It was a shock to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I gave him all the time to talk because he's a veteran, and we must always learn to honor our veterans. Thank you very much, sir. I see another hand. That's Mr. Olugbile, right? They look so much alike. It's not Mr. Olugbile. Wonderful.
Yeah, it looks like.
Okay, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Are you a veteran? Don't exceed 1 minute.
I'm a young Nigerian.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, the elders here. John, what is the name? A very simple question. I have some colleagues. They routed with Ericsson. And all of a sudden, they came to work one day and they said, their server and their data center is being transferred to India, like we're saying. Now, what is the government doing? My colleague there asked something about data security and the rest. Data protection. If you talk of data concerning Nigerians, we have over 102 million Nigerians that are on the internet, if not more. And when you talk of that, you are talking of heavy data. What is the government doing in ensuring that we bring back all the information that has been taken out? Just like you said, AU gave a free infrastructure a Greek gift with a string attached. If we bring it back, I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities for Nigeria, the Iraq centers, the young Nigerians. And
I think we got you. We got you.
Yes. What's the
Thank
government
you.
doing? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any from this side? Okay, I see a hand there. The gentleman next to you. Yes, thank you.
My name is Ayo Uwangu, and I have a question for the speaker from Defense. I'm really interested in what aspect of cybersecurity is the Defense interested in so much, and the one for the data protection, I wanted to also see if they could enlighten us on any data protection laws or acts that are already in place, if there are any. Speak more of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Time is not our friend. I would have loved us to take more questions, but let's make do with these 3 questions that we have. And the way we'll do it is I will give each member of the panel 30 seconds to make their last words. But if you are answering a specific question, I would give you 45 seconds. Okay? So there are 3 questions. My friend, you are going to be addressing the first one, which is to shed some more light on data protection strategy. The second question is to the Commodore, which is to shed some more light on data security aspect that the space agency is interested in. And the third one has to do with data center being transferred to India. And I will leave Lawrence, who's from the business constituency, to address that. So, okay, you would like to make an intervention too. Okay, but we still all have 30 seconds to talk. Okay, so we'll start with you, sir. Tosin.
Okay, so briefly, let me speak to the state of data protection in Nigeria. I think looking at it, there is good news, there is bad news. I'll talk about the bad news first. The bad news is that for a very long period of time, Nigeria doesn't have a data protection law, even despite the fact that we are doing a lot of the biometric data collection, BVN, one for SMS. If you are doing your international passports, they collect all your data and all of that. But we're doing all of that without even having a national law on data protection. That's the bad news. The good news is that there is now a law that has been passed by the House of Representatives that was sponsored by the Speaker himself. That law has been in National Assembly for a very long time, but finally it was passed and is now in the Senate for concurrence. It's been read once on the floor of the Senate and is currently at the conference committee. So when that law, if that law is passed by the Senate and they achieve that concurrence and the President is asked to hit, that means for the first time in Nigeria, we have a data protection law that at least guides data collection, privacy, and those kind of issues. And what will now be left is the will, or the political will, to make sure that it is implemented. But I think that is a very positive step that will guide data collection and the issue that some of us have about data protection in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Uduma.
Thank you. What I want to say to all of us is that we join hand, engage the government to ensure that government implements the broadband roadmap. I'm happy that Akim is here, who is a member of the board now. So let's get them engaged so that every person, everybody that desires to have access to the internet will have access to the internet, and also it will be affordable to all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My Commodore, you answer the question and your last words.
Okay. In the Defense Space Administration, we work with the civilians as well as the military. That is the reason why I tasked the ISOC to get involved. From now, we will get yourself, we will automatically become member of the ISOC. We get whatever is required, all in the directorate. So in the directorate of defense cyber security, it is very simple. Number one, there are 3 aspects. We do monitoring. We monitor what is coming in the system, that defense system, all the computer networking and the rest. So, and it's going to be, definitely I cannot be telling you what details of this because it's more intelligence computer systems. So we do the monitoring. And of course, where there is need for us to do countering in the sense that maybe if you go into a system like your ICA, we counter you. So in order to prevent that. So and again too, we do what we call research and development. So these are the aspects of the defense cyber system or cyber security we're referring here. We monitor, we counter, and of course, we look into research. And that research has to do with a lot of people who are interested, both civilians and everything. So we work all together in the lab to ensure that our cyberspace, as far as the military is concerned, is safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commodore. Mr. Olawale, last words and the answer to the question about transferring data centers from Nigeria to India. Bring back our data, BBOD.
Thank you for this opportunity again. First, I want to say that data is big business, very, very big business. There are lots of companies that thrive on data. And so it is an issue of great concern. But one thing I have come to find out, even with global companies, is that where they have to choose between regulations from industry operators, so to say, and patriotism to their country, more often than not, they first of all go with being patriotic to their country. There is this law that has come out recently that is going to be enacted, that's going to come into force in May, the GDPR law, and you find out that because of the conflicts that it's going to cause, conflicts of interest, so to say, a lot of global companies are choosing to align with their country. And so to go back to the question that has been posed, where there is a will, there is a way. In other words, there are laws that that can be used, that we can leverage on to repatriate a lot of our data and content that resides outside the shores of the country. If we don't want to repatriate them, if there are agreements, then we should also look at putting in enabling policies to guide how it's being used. My colleague will speak further on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Abdul Hakim, I think you should finish it up before my...
Okay. Very quickly on the issue of the movement of the data centers. First and foremost, NIDA actually has already put forward some regulations for the local hosting of Nigerian government data. So that is a major step. However, you have to ask yourself, why are they moving the data center to wherever they are moving it to? And frankly, you have to understand that the data center business is not about data, even though data is the new oil. It's about power. Can you give me 9 megawatts of power for a mini data center? It's not just the quality of the data, of the electricity. You understand? It's also just the plain availability. We have been sitting here for how many minutes? We've had at least twice when the lights went off. The other thing you have to realize is that when it comes to locating a data center, you actually need to locate it near the core of the internet, near where the high-speed connections are, so that you minimize your time travel of your data, because that time and distance is money. So while I'm not trying to justify what those companies have done, you do have to understand that those companies answer to shareholders. And those shareholders are not that patriotic. They want to know, where is my money? So at the end of the day, really, there are a lot of reasons why they are moving these things. And so the task is for us as Nigerians to understand what the conditionalities are that make them, for example, go to India. And therefore, within Nigeria, set up competitive conditionalities without asking them. Trust me, they will come back.
Thank you. Mani, last words?
Last word. It's really to call on government to support and work closely with the Nigerian Computer Society, which is an umbrella body of, most of us here in the ICT. And politics apart, it's a moving train. ICT you cannot do without it. And it is the force that will help government move ahead.
Thank you very much. Oh, you still want to have a question?
Yes.
Okay, I will give you the benefit of last word.
Thank you very much. Dewale, an executive. Where are you? Okay. Dewale, an executive. Where are you? Dewale, an executive. How many times I call on her name? 3 times. Listen, we congratulate you. We do have a lot of expectations from you. But I want you to understand something. There is a desperate need in Nigeria for you to understand that we need to pivot. All the people in this room today, frankly, you are preaching to the choir here. Who are the people that are not here today that somehow ISOC must start that engine for the national pivot with NCC, with NIDA, with CPRN, with NCS, and the like? They are the underserved. They are the unserved. And last but not least, they are the unborn, those who are not here. All of us in this room, we are debtors. We are carrying today, and we are going to pay it forward to the future. So, you look at your slogan, what does it say? Internet is for everyone. For that slogan to have meaning, this nation, this society must pivot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I have the vote of thanks, let me also say 1 or 2 things. Because, first of all, for me, what we are doing today is making history. In terms of publicity, this program was well publicized, that this all should be full. But you recognize one thing. There's a shift in value in our country today. What seems to matter does not seem to matter again. I was invited to speak 1 year ago in Ibadan, Jogo Center. I got there and the place was jammed. People were pushing each other and I kept saying, I am the speaker, I am the speaker. So reluctantly, they let me pass. So when I got inside, practically no space to speak. So I went to one of the people that I am the speaker for the program. He said, which program? I showed him the card. He said, oh, guy, it is downstairs. This one is for the musical concert. So I made my way downstairs. There were 8 people sitting waiting for me. It was free. The one upstairs, they paid 1,000 naira to enter. Mega jam. When I finally saw the backdrop, it was mega jam. And I said to myself, our youths are warped. So, Dewale and Co., you will need to do quite a lot of orientation. I call it illumination. Otherwise, you will be clapping and winking in the dark. I wish you all the best with doing that. It's not an easy road, but I know you are up to the task. To each and every one of us here today, I want to appeal. Let us not think they can do it alone. Let us offer our help. Let us offer our advice. Let us offer our support. I don't want to name names, but I can see Facebook is present in this room. I can see Microsoft is present. I can see that Google is present. I can see that LinkedIn is seated. I'm even seeing Open Source Foundation. Please let us not leave ISOC-Nigeria alone. They are the future, and the future is not far, the future is here, now. On that note, I'd want to thank members of the panel. Boye, thank you very much for your deep insight this morning. You still haven't told me what the return on investment is if I invest in one of the suits. Because if federal government should lose, I'm sure they will. So you are suing federal government for 1 naira, not for 1 billion naira. Okay, no damage, just judgment. Thank you. Commodore, thank you very much for unwinding with us today. Partnership that ISOC has put together, nobody can put us under by God's grace. And Lawrence, thank you very much for your deep business insight. Manny, it's a pleasure having you. Abdul Hakim, thank you very much for your interventions and your word of admonitions. And to you, the wonderful participants who've contributed, thank you very much for tolerating us, and if we have spent too much time, our sincere apologies. Good afternoon.
Cameras, I'm coming.